Robin Hood Energy are a not-for-profit energy supply. We supply gas and electricity to customers across the UK. We are wholly owned by Nottingham City Council. They're our parent company, so we've got quite a unique business model. We've been operating now for nearly 3 years, primarily domestic supply business. We've got some non-domestic customers as well. We've grown significantly since we launched, from a customer base of 0, being a start-up, to where we are now, which is about 150,000 customers and nearly 200,000 metres on supply. So the initial thoughts when we were going through controlled market entry and we had a very small number of customers was could we print locally initially, and we thought, actually no, let's get this set up correctly from the start and outsource it to a specialist. First of all, the print had to be secure and trackable. So when we looked at Datagraphic, we were one of the few printers back in 2015 that were ISO 27001. It was also envisaged that we'd be ramping up quite significantly in terms of volume, so we needed to look at a facility that could handle that. When we did the site visit and the reference checks with Datagraphic, we could see that there was a significant volume of print being carried out already for quite large clients. It was a well-established facility. This is prior to relocating to the new site, which is even bigger, obviously. And we've got a great deal of confidence it was a professional outfit and it could handle our requirements. As we scaled up, not knowing quite how fast that would be at the time. We use a billing platform called Junifer. It's an off-the-shelf platform that's designed for energy suppliers, so it's used by us and about 20 other energy suppliers, mainly smaller energy suppliers or newer entrants. That's creating fully rendered PDFs of bills, letters and all the means of correspondence. Datagraphic are actually collecting those files on a nightly basis from an SFTP location, so they're pulling the files. They're running the files the next day through the printers and they're mailing them out. We're sending about 60,000 packets a month through Datagraphic. The initial documentation that a customer gets when they sign up is a welcome pack, which is a duplex A3 document folded over and inserted into a C4 envelope. Inside that there's some inserted booklets, so a terms and conditions booklet, a booklet that we call Our Services to You, which explains the customer proposition, complaints procedure, etc., as well as a prepayment meter user guide if they're a prepayment customer. Some of the documents that we send out must be sent out within 48 hours, and that's governed by our supply licence conditions, so there's a regulatory requirement to get these documents out promptly. After the initial welcome pack sent to the customer, if they are a customer that's chosen to be paper billed, they'll receive a bill or statement in the post every month or every quarter, depending on the billing frequency. There's some other ad hoc communications that might need to go out, such as notification letters and things like that. So there's quite a range of documents that we're getting out at the minute. It's difficult to put a pounds and pence figure on any cost savings because we've been using Datagraphic and we've been using this service since startup. So it's grown, the service has grown as our business has grown. However, it would be completely unmanageable to send 800,000 packs a year from this facility. We're already at capacity in terms of the size of the building and staffing constraints, etc. So it's nothing that we could do in-house, not effectively. It's also important when we're working in a regulated environment to be able to track packets to make sure that they've actually gone out to customers, and we wouldn't be able to do that in-house or through a more traditional print house because they wouldn't have the systems in place to allow that to happen. I'd totally recommend the managed print solution to other energy suppliers, including new entrants coming to the market. Key reasons for that being the level of service provided by Datagraphic. So we've found that there's good technical expertise within the business. We can write scripts to extract the data from our systems in the format that it's generated, rather than us having to make systems changes at our end, which when you're working with an off-the-shelf platform can be quite difficult or time-consuming or costly to do. We find that the size of Datagraphic and the resilience in the actual equipment and the facility that you've got means that you can upscale volume at quite short notice, which is important. In our industry, we have peaks and troughs in the volumes. So if we're doing something like a price notification, that could go out to potentially tens of thousands of customers, so we need to be able to work with somebody who can gear up for that at reasonably short notice and be able to hit deadlines. So we found that Datagraphic can do that well. Initially, when we started working with Datagraphic, we were very small. I think we literally had a few hundred customers, and now we've got 115,000. So that gives you an idea of the scale and the change in the scale over the past 2.5–3 years. We have continued to develop the range of brands that we operate under, so Datagraphic have had to adapt to that. Rather than sending out everything as under Robin Hood Energy's branding, they're now working under 7 or 8 different brands. So it's the print, it's the inserts, it's even down to the stationery and the envelopes, and they've had to develop scripts to be able to extract data and manage that in the correct way, to identify that. Going forward, we do see a trend towards customers moving towards paperless communication, but actually there's a certain demographic of customers that do prefer paper correspondence, so we always see that service being required, certainly for the foreseeable future.